So what's going on, everybody? It's JA. Salute to you for tuning in. Of course, we're covering the latest stories from around the world of sneakers. So it looks like a big internal leak at Adidas has just happened, as it looks like several new 2025 models have been revealed. And unfortunately, it looks like Adidas cannot get past the whole Yeezy stigma. Plus, day one of Nike's new regime has officially began. So we're going to be discussing if they have what it takes to kind of turn things around from their current outlook. So stay tuned, guys. Before we jump into that, though, some quick updates. First up, we got Foot Locker, who has just announced a new multi-year partnership with the Chicago Bulls. So I thought this one was important to mention just because recently Foot Locker has actually exceeded many analysts' forecasts, which apparently they're doing a lot better than most people originally thought. Now, as far as this partnership with the Bulls, it's mostly going to center around like community events, retail activation, stuff like that. But I thought it was just another sign of Foot Locker's success, and just wanted to point this one out, as there was this like kind of false narrative, as I saw many YouTubers making videos, or some YouTubers making videos about Foot Locker closing or whatever. So just wanted to kind of set the record straight on that one, as Foot Locker is doing just as good as ever and are definitely here to stay for a long time. Now, this next clip that you're taking a look at here actually comes from a recent Got Soul event, which this is one of those like traveling sneaker conventions where you have a whole bunch of resellers setting up booths and all that good stuff. Now, what you're seeing right here, this individual, the backstory on why he's actually being brutally attacked right here is because apparently he was allegedly caught selling fakes. And on top of that, apparently this individual has like a notorious reputation for selling bootlegs or fakes at these sneaker events or whatever. So you got to be careful out here, guys. And I guess sneakerheads do not appreciate getting scammed. So just be careful when you guys are out here at these sneaker events. And lastly, for our quick updates right here, we have another Jayon Asics collaboration, but this is the first time that we're going to see them teaming up on the GT 2160, a model which gained some notoriety from the popular Marvel collaboration, which you guys seem to really eat up a lot. Now, what you have here with this model is essentially nothing really too much to kind of separate itself from just your standard GRs, other than the Jayon branding. On top of that, I'm sure they're gonna probably have like a huge markup retail price, like probably $100 over the retail, which this model normally comes in like at around 120, 140 bucks. So all of those things sound really horrible, but I would say just for some reason, like normally I would really hate this type of collaboration, but I don't know why. These joints are just so basic, but for some reason I want them. And with those quick updates out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into our main story. So first, we're going to begin with Nike, who has just recently had some major leadership changes, as their former CEO, John Donahoe, he just got the boot. He's been replaced by Nike senior veteran Elliott Hill, who was previously with the company for over 32 years. So he actually began his first official day over at Nike, where he kind of kicked things off with a big company-wide meeting, which Complex actually did a great write-up on everything. So we're going to discuss if Elliott Hill has what it takes to kind of turn Nike's current outlook around. So first up, as far as this company meeting, he actually addressed the entire company, walking out to a very interesting choice of song, as Elliott Hill actually walked out to the classic record Return of the Mac. So I feel like that song alone is just a statement. Now, he said there's no hiding the fact that we're in a tough spot right now. He also said, and for those of you that are new to Nike, we've been here before. Now, as far as Nike being in a tough spot previously, from all the years that I've been covering sneakers and just like being a general sneaker fan, I can't ever really recall a time when Nike was in a tough place. I feel like ever since they signed MJ back in the 80s, they've continued to steadily increase revenues every year. Their stock has continued to grow every year, except for this year. So I really can't recall of a time when Nike was actually in a tough place. Well, maybe like, I guess like pre-80s or something like that. Now, he also said, as far as like has his whole story history with Nike, he kind of went through his full 32 years with the company, saying that he actually began as an intern in Memphis June 1st, 1988, and secured his first job after like badgering a Nike employee for like 6 months until he finally got hired. So then he went on to work for Nike 32 years, eventually till like 2020, when he was next in line to be CEO, but then Nike actually went with John Donahoe. So then he retired. Now he's back to kind of pick up from where he left off. So he didn't really exactly disclose on how he actually came back to Nike, but but he did say it was pretty simple. When the phone call started and the conversation started, I never said no. I said yes immediately. So it looks like he was excited and ambitious to kind of pick up from where he left off, with the whole Nike legacy. And he also put that now that he's here with Nike, the first thing that he wants to do is kind of to let employees know that they're going to focus on serving athletes and consumers. He wants Nike to celebrate the passion and promotion of sport. In the short term, he wants strong results for his first fiscal year back. So although all of the plans and the forecasts and everything for this next fiscal year were all under the previous leadership, he wants to make sure that he has an immediate impact, and he's looking to sell as many units of these models. And he plans to kind of like mend some of those retail partnerships that Nike lost over the last couple of years. So we're going to see a new strategy evoked here, where we're going to see a lot less pairs released directly through the sneakers app and are spread out to some of Nike's retail partners, such as Foot Locker, which we just spoke on. So he mentioned cleaning up Nike's franchises, an apparent reference to a strategy of making less of the popular retro sneakers that it's relied on so heavily in the 2020s and converting inventory into cash. So exactly what I just mentioned, kind of going to be like not exactly scaling back on retro models, but just kind of like preserving the legacy, just dropping the more popular colorways and just kind of making them seem to appear less available, if you guys know what I mean, since they're now going to be spread out across a larger spectrum of retail partners. So Hill said the future of Nike relies on a strong, healthy technology platform. Nike already stated conversations, he said, about how artificial intelligence can be a part of that. Now, as you guys know, anytime somebody mentions the word AI, people start to panic. And with Nike, a design sport company known for like sneakers, I don't really understand how AI is going to play a part in what's going on or kind of help them improve. If they're going to be using AI to like just randomly design sneakers, I'll just pretty much just retire from YouTube right now, because if that's how they plan to use AI, I mean, this is not the play. So I can't really think of any other alternative uses for AI other than that. So I would be very curious to know what you guys think about that one down below. So he said, we're going to write the next great chapter for Nike, and that starts today. No looking backwards, no finger pointing. We all look forward. We create the future of Nike. We create the Nike magic. So as far as Nike's current outlook, we do have to remember, guys, Nike is the leader in the industry. They completely dominate everybody. So as far as Nike, they haven't necessarily like fallen off, but we could say maybe they've been getting a little stagnant. So I think this could be a potential quick little cleanup with them. Of course, they got the next year ahead of them, which I know he wants to make a huge impact, but all of these releases that were originally planned were under the previous leadership of Donahoe. So what I would say as far as like what he can do for next year, just kind of make sure that they monitor, preserve the legacy of these retro releases, because they have a lot of classics coming out, and then you got a full year to kind of like develop that new innovative running based model or performance based models that you guys are working on. So you got a full year to work on that while Nike's dropping all of these classics, and then come 2026, Nike is on the clock, and we're gonna want to see what that new innovation is. So as far as Nike's future outlook, I would say things are possibly looking good. I think they made the right move by bringing Elliott Hill back. And as far as for next year, I think he's going to just coast through next year with some very close monitoring of the franchises, and then come 2026, Nike, you guys are on the clock. Now, switching gears over to Adidas. So of course, we've extensively covered the whole Adidas YEEZY saga, the fallout and everything, as they split, cut ties in 2022. So I would say as far as navigating the breakup on Adidas side, like their current leadership did an incredible job of like kind of navigating through things the best way they could possibly to benefit the company, not saying benefiting the consumer, but most definitely to benefit the company as they continue to sell off all of that remaining YEEZY inventory, topping off their revenues each quarter. At the same time, the Samba has been like a cultural smash hit. Like everybody across the world has been wearing the Samba. And then at the same time, they've also continued to innovate, putting out new models in the running category. The lifestyle category as continuing to innovate in the basketball category as well, which I feel like Adidas basketball has had some of like the biggest, largest leaps as well as impacts for the company overall. So they had smash hits in the Harden line from the 7 to the 8, which has been a good model, but definitely a huge hit in the Anthony Edwards line, which many people would say has been like the most biggest, impactful new basketball model that we've seen seen in like the last decade or so, which are some like huge accolades to put on the model as such. We'll have to wait and see, you know, how everybody responds to the AE2 when that model eventually debuts. But as far as Adidas basketball, they also have some more stars on their roster, including Donovan Mitchell, which they just dropped the Don 6, which debuted just this summer. And then we already have a leak of the Don issue number 7, which is scheduled to drop coming up next year in 2025. Now, when we take a look here at these new leaked models, you can see the natural progression throughout all of these pairs, which I feel like these new models improve upon the previous counterparts. So as far as these Don issue 7s, when you look at these right here, they continue the low profile. It's got kind of like a minimal but yet futuristic look to it. And as far as like the overall design, I would say definitely an improvement over the 6, which these are going to retail at $120 and they're going to be debuting the summer of 2025. So that's a good one to look forward to. On top of that, we have Dame Lillard, which they just again debuted the Dame 9, just like the Don issue 6, but we already got a look here at the Dame 10, which based off this pair right here, I would say this is the biggest significant improvement that we've seen on the model, which I feel like these Dame 10s look really, really nice. And I think what makes this model even better on top of everything, you know, these joints look nice, but the craziest part about these is the retail price on these joints, just $90. So I feel like Dame, he's coming out trying to make a huge statement. I love the fact that he's trying to make his sneakers affordable, but looking great at the same time. Plus Dame, he seems to have a crazy relationship going on. Things are looking really great between him and Adidas, as I believe recently they just named like a basketball building over at the headquarters after him. So it looks like Adidas and Dame Lillard may be locked in for life. And as far as the Dame 9, again, $90, and we're gonna see these joints debut coming up next September, or I'm sorry, next summer. So that's definitely one that's going to be on my radar. And then the James Harden Volume 9. This is a pair we've seen leaked. We've seen different samples, but it looks like this is the finished product right here, which these got like a crazy metallic silver futuristic vibe right here. So I could definitely see the natural progression from the 7 to the 8 now to the 9. And I would say I'm definitely a fan of these, especially for a basketball model. I think these are going to look really cool when James Harden rocks these joints on the court, which it looks like the Harden Volume 9 will be debuting coming up February of 2025 for a retail of $160. So as I mentioned, I enjoy all of these basketball models. I like the fact that Adidas basketball is continuing to innovate, put out new products here that players are going to be rocking on the court. But when I actually take a look at the feedback through all of the various popular blogs on social media, whether it's like Sneaker News, Nice Kicks, you name it, pretty much the majority of comments are all saying Yeezy knockoffs, which it looks like years after the breakup still, Adidas cannot move past the whole Yeezy stigma. Remember, Ye was accusing Adidas of copying or stealing his designs. And while I don't want to discredit the whole Adidas design team, as they have some phenomenal people over there that have been putting out some incredible designs, I just really honestly feel like they're not going to be able to get past this whole stigma, because anytime they drop something that's futuristic looking or anything new in that category, it's just going to remind people of what Yeezy was putting out with Adidas. So it seems like it's not going to be a quick fix as far as them getting past the whole Yeezy stigma. And I think this is something that Adidas is going to have to deal with for years to come now. And at the same time, it's just a testimony to how much nostalgia people have, or how much people are missing out on those Yeezy releases, and just how hot the Yeezy name still is, even after virtually being canceled and everything like that. We know Ye, he's working on the big comeback album Bully, which I guess he just announced right now today via IG with a little sample of that Beauty and the Beast record. So Yeezy, he's not going away anytime soon, and it seems like as soon as he's ready to drop some new product, the name is as hot as ever, and people are definitely going to be checking for what he's got going on. But it seems like as far as Adidas' future, they're always going to be tied with Ye somehow, because Yeezy was just so impactful. It was just such a major move, and I feel like the only big competitor, the only person to really shake things up, you know, as far as like the whole Nike and Jordan dominance that we've seen over the last few years or so. So as far as these new Adidas models, I'm a fan of what they're putting out. We got some crazy leaks like a whole year in advance. So it looks like Adidas is continuing to put out some heat, but at the same time, the public, it seems like they just got the same response and they can't get past that whole Yeezy stigma. So let me know what you guys think. I would be very curious to know your thoughts and opinions on this whole matter. Are you guys rocking with these pairs, or do you just feel like they're simply just Yeezy knockoffs? Drop your feedback down below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please help support the channel by smashing that like button. And if you made it all the way through the end, I appreciate you. You guys already know, drop a salute down below. So I'm JA. I will catch you guys next time. Until then, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out, y'all. Love.